And we're back. What the heck? There's 3 of you that seem to always watch this, so just go ahead and hang out together on the way home here. Had a good lunch with Sandhills sweetheart, so now I'm full and happy and ready for a nap. And I don't get to go take a nap. Got some stuff I need to get done. Try to get everything done up in time to go to the theater and catch Avengers again. Sweetheart doesn't want to go. She's got some other stuff going on this evening anyway, so if I time this right and I get everything done, I will catch the 4 o'clock movie and be home before 7. Get some supper started so when she comes home she can eat before she's off to her next appointment. So that's our plan anyway. How's the drive? Just started. So far so good. Much as I've been going live from the driver's seat the last week here, you guys probably think all I ever do is drive, which really isn't the case. But I've been doing quite a bit of road tripping here. Well, I had a work road trip yesterday, so on my days off I don't always get to come down have lunch with my wife, so the days that I can do it, I take advantage of that. It's only gasoline, right? Just miles on the vehicle, that's all. Small price to pay to hang out. Look at that, I'm getting messages. Maybe I ought to. There we go. There. Hopefully that won't keep doing that to us now. How much do I usually spend on gas? Normally about 30 bucks or so. Honestly, I don't fill the tank up very often. If I'm just driving around town, going to work, back and forth and whatnot, I only put usually 25 or 30 bucks in at a time. But we also use this vehicle for DJ jobs, and so here we're getting into the busy season, and we'll be driving it a lot more for. Why I lost my signal right there, but we're back. So. But I think gas was, I can't even tell you. I don't usually look at it. I go to the same place about every time. There in my hometown, not my hometown, the town where we live. I want to say gas is right around $2.49 right now, where I live. The other day, Sunday, we made a trip up to South Dakota. Just this side of South Dakota, there's a casino up there on Santee Sioux land, and I think I paid $2.45 there for gas. And this usually doesn't happen, but it was actually cheaper where we live than in South Dakota, which normally gas is at least 10 or 15 cents less. Excuse me while I dodge some potholes here. Road. I'm not on a state highway this will cut across. It's paved, but it's just owned by the county, I do believe. It's got some potholes. It's not quite as smooth as the road we're about to get onto here. So how much is gas going for where you are? maybe I'll be happy to live where I do. I'm gonna let all these trucks go before we head out from the stop sign. Having held a CDL at one point and knowing how to drive one of those things, I definitely give them respect on the road. Hey, Tardot, how's it going? We're just chillaxing as I'm driving around Nebraska right now. Made a road trip down to where my wife works and had lunch with my girls, so now I'm just heading back. Ooh, the wind is coming up a little bit, pulling me around a little. The wind only blows twice a year here in Nebraska. It'll blow for 6 months out of one direction, and then it'll die down for 10 minutes. Then it'll pick back up and blow for 6 more months out of the other direction. But that's only twice a year. Guess I could slow down some. We don't need to have me going live and getting a speeding ticket here. Can't even imagine the comments you guys would be making if that happened. Plus, I'd have to have that conversation with the law enforcement officer about I can't reach for my driver's license or my carry permit without permission because I got to reach right past my little buddy in the holster. Because I have the day off, I'm not at work, and I don't mind people knowing that I am armed right now. Every place I legally can be, I usually am. And there's a big old long list of places in my state where I can't legally have my gun. Way more places than in Texas, I can tell you that much. It's pretty dumb. Because any business that posts no concealed carry or no firearms, the little sign, you know, the pistol with the circle and the line through it, it doesn't have to be a specific standardized sign. It just has to be posted, and it's legally binding. That is a legal gun-free zone, no different than a bank or a post office in Nebraska. So that's why I always call out in a while now, but unless you're in a building where you can't carry, yep, exactly. Yeah, I don't believe there ought to be a building where you can't carry. You've already proven to the state that you're not a criminal if you could get the permit to carry. I guess anybody who's been through the required background checks and testing and live fire qualification, you've proven that not only are you aware of the law, but you are competent in drawing, firing, manipulating your firearm. I guess I just don't see why you shouldn't be able to have that thing with you any place you go to. If it's a school function and you're not there to break the law, you're just there to abide by it. The law should allow for you to be protected and armed and be protected. I don't have a problem with licensed concealed carry permit holders carrying on school grounds or in hospitals or courthouses. I don't know about courtrooms necessarily. I could see that being an issue, just because you may have passed all the tests, but you know, if somebody's on trial for assaulting a loved one, then their, you know, emotion could get the better of you there. But for the longest time, I really wasn't sure that I was, you know, I didn't agree with concealed carry in bars. But then the more I thought about it, the more I realized that, you know, for my own self, There's very, very few times, even if I'm sitting in a bar, that I have any alcohol in my system. Because I don't mind going out and you know, hanging out and having fun in the bar, and then just drinking soft drinks or iced tea or what have you. But you know, not drinking alcohol does not cramp my style whatsoever. And so the more I sit there, and there was one night I was in a bar, we were at a friend's party, and we were all sitting around and everybody's having a good time, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you know, obviously I wasn't carrying in the bar. That's not legal in Nebraska. But had I been able to carry, you know, I guess I had my wits about me. I wasn't gonna be stupid because I wasn't drinking. I wasn't intoxicated at all. And in Nebraska, if you are exercising your right to carry, you cannot have any alcohol in your system, zero tolerance. So that made me change my mind. Now I'm of the mindset, if you want to walk into a bar armed and you are not going to imbibe in any kind of alcoholic beverage, then why should you have to disarm? Because if the fear is, you know, drunk people have impaired judgment and we don't want firearms into the mix, well then I agree with that 100%. But if you're just sitting there not drinking, maybe you're the DD, or you're that person like me who just doesn't care to drink alcohol and can still have fun and hang out with everybody and laugh and joke, you know, I guess I just don't see why it's dangerous for me to have a gun on me in a bar if I'm not drinking alcohol. People think it's dangerous for me to have a gun anywhere, and I you know, I could joke a bunch about, yeah, if they really knew me or whatever, but you know, in all seriousness, I mean, I take the law seriously, and I take the responsibility of carrying a gun seriously, and I think we all do, those of us that carry. If we don't, then we don't deserve to carry. That's how I feel. But you know, there comes a time when we put all joking aside, and when it comes down to it, guys, you know, if you're following the law and you're being a responsible gun owner and a responsible gun carrier, then there really is no reason whatsoever. Like I said, short of a courtroom, I don't know that anybody but the bailiff should have a firearm in a courtroom, and I wouldn't mind disarming before I walk into a courtroom, but just to go in and, you know, get my license plates renewed or something like that, which in Nebraska, that's, you know, that most places, that's in the courthouse. I mean, there's not a separate building for DMV, and maybe in Lincoln or Omaha, but that'd be it. Every other place is the courthouse that you do that. You know, and I don't see what harm there is in me carrying, you know. Well, there is a harm right now. It's illegal, and I won't do it. But if it were legal, I can't see that it would be a problem. And you know, it just goes back to, there might be somebody that would try to go in there, break that law, and carry a gun into there, and what's going to happen? Well, you know, if there's a chance that 5 or 6 other people standing in line are armed, what better deterrent could there possibly be than that? You know, hey, I'm not gonna go anywhere anymore. There's no place that's safe for me to break the law. You know, all these safe spaces that people are making. I mean, to be totally honest, I think that to be a safe space, we just outlaw we outlaw gun-free zones and make every place potentially safe. We do it by making every place potentially dangerous for criminals. Again, I just don't know why people, I don't understand why they don't understand. I don't get it, why they don't get it. It makes sense to me. I bet it makes sense to people that are listening to this. Just don't understand what the difference is. If you're driving or carrying a gun, limit yourself to one. You know, I'm okay with zero tolerance on both. I really am. I'm okay with lowering the legal blood alcohol content to 0 for driving. I think that would be just okay with me. If you're gonna drive, don't drink, and if you're gonna drink, don't drive. And I don't think that would be a big issue. If you're gonna carry a gun, don't drink, and if you're gonna drink, don't carry a gun. That's pretty simple. That leaves out any gray area. That just eliminates. It's black or white, right? You can do one or the other. You can't do both. I'm okay with that. But that kind of goes back to, you know, you're much more likely to die at the hands of a driver, drunk or sober. You're much more likely to die at the hands of another driver than by a gun, no matter who's holding it. Criminal or negligent discharge, or, you know, anything like that. Your chances of dying in an automobile accident are so much higher in this country. And, you know, it just goes back to the old argument. I just heard the argument. I think it might have been on a video that somebody put up here from the NRA show. I don't remember who posted it, so I don't mean to slight anybody, but there was a guy talking about seat belts. You know, sometimes seat belts do cause people to be injured or killed in a car accident. There are times, it's been documented, that a seat belt has been a contributing factor into somebody not surviving a car accident. We know that. Okay, that's just a fact of life, that sometimes the seat belt didn't save the life. Sometimes seat belts fail, and it's not that the seat belt caused a death, but sometimes the seat belt fails to stop people from dying. Okay, but the fact of the matter is that there are where the seat belt does save a life. And yeah, you take a risk by putting the thing on. You take a risk by getting into an automobile, whether you're driving or not. We know it's dangerous. We know that there's the potential for danger there. But we assess the risk, we decide it's an acceptable risk, and we go ahead and we get in the car, right? And I'm talking about no alcohol involved, just nobody being stupid. Just, you can do everything right and still have something go wrong, still be in an accident. And so it's just a chance you take, and you're aware when you get behind the wheel that there is a potential, no matter how slim, you're not going to go home, okay? But you still get behind the wheel, or you still get into the car, because the odds of that happening are so low. The odds are so much better of getting, you know, being safely home. You know, a couple weeks ago, most of you are aware, I had surgery. Did some work in my neck, took out a disc, and put a piece of bone in there, screwed a plate in to fuse everything together. You know, another thing that kills more Americans, so you don't fly through the windshield. Yep. You know, medical malpractice. Again, if you look at the CDC's statistics, medical malpractice will kill thousands more. I believe of thousands more in firearm deaths. Not just bad people using the gun for bad purposes, you know, because normally when we talk about that number, we weed out the suicides and we weed out the gang-on-gang violence, and that cuts that 30,000 plus gun deaths down to, you know, 5 to 10,000, somewhere in there. But even if you leave that all together, you know, that 30,000 plus 35,000 gun deaths in a year, there are, you know, over 100,000 medical malpractice deaths every year. But did that stop me from getting a surgery? No. No, because I trusted my doctor to not screw up to not screw up, you know, staff. I trusted them to not, you know, to be competent, to do their job. I trusted them. Because I know that the chances of anything bad happening are so tiny that it was against We make calculated risks all the time, every day. Just walking out the door is a risk, and we decide it's it's worth taking a chance. If you don't go out the door because you're afraid something might happen to you, I mean, there's what kind of things can happen inside the house. Again, everything in this world has a potential to be dangerous. So that kind of brings me back to make a short story long. I don't want bad people to have guns. I don't want crazy people to have guns. I don't want people to do bad things with those guns. But I just cannot see a feasible way to guarantee that it's never going to happen. And I know that if we made the whole country constitutional carry and we just took away all regulation on firearms, did away with the NFA, did away with everything, I know that there is a potential for bad people to use a gun to do bad things. Okay, I'm aware, and I don't want that to happen, but I can't see a scenario to eliminate that potential, no matter what laws we have. I think that potential is always going to be there. We know that because we've got laws against doing bad things with guns now, and people break them every day. So, that being the case, then let's go back to the acceptable risk conversation. Okay, I know that there's going to be risk. I know that there's potential for danger. But I also know that if everybody has access to a gun, then so do I. And just in case it would ever hit the fan, I'll be best prepared to deal with said stuff hitting the fan. And so, since evil exists in the world, and since evil people are always going to find a way, then I want to have one too. I want to have one, every bit as sophisticated, every bit as powerful, every bit of magazine capacity that evil has. I don't want to be outgunned. So that's how I feel. That's my rant for this trip. I don't want to see anybody get hurt unnecessarily. I don't want to see anybody take a gun to a school or a concert or a sporting venue, anything like that, any more than anybody else does. But just because I don't believe that there should be laws stopping people from owning guns doesn't mean that I do believe that people should be able to do bad things with them. We have cars that drive 150 miles an hour. Yeah, there's always a chance it could happen. We don't have any law saying that you're not allowed to own a race car. And yeah, I know it has to be street legal in order to run it down the road, but how are the cops going to catch you? Oh, we've got a... It's alright, that looked like a telemarketer, so... we get a lot of those. No, you can buy a car. You can get a street legal car that'll go over 100 miles an hour. Do we have any roads around here where it's legal to drive 100 miles an hour? No, we sure don't. But does that mean that people don't have the right to own a car with, that powerful of a motor or anything like that? I don't believe that. I think that we can hopefully trust people to be responsible. Although having said that, clearly we can't trust people to be responsible. I don't know. I don't know what the answers are. I just know the things that don't make any sense to me. Oh, back in the big city. we've got a traffic jam. I'm not even sure that I should go this way. Yeah, we'll do it. Just stay out of Mr. Truck Driver's way here. I don't know. I know you guys sometimes have heard me say a lot of this stuff before on Caliber Corner or Hit or Miss or some of these other shows, but I don't know. It just seems like maybe the thing to do is put people into office feel the same way that we do, that think that we have too many dumb laws. That's why I keep telling everybody, do your duty as a citizen. Go vote in your elections. At least those of you that are tuning in from the U.S. Vandal was with me earlier today when I was driving. I don't know exactly how the electoral process works down under where he is, but those of you that are citizens of the U.S., make sure you do duty and go vote. You know, we can sit here and rant and complain and whine or cry until we're blue in the face, but it's not going to do any good if we don't go vote against the people that are making things the way they are. If we don't go vote for people that can help change it or start the ball rolling for change. You know, I mean, there's too many politicians that think that we work for them and not the other way around. You know, make sure you're voting for somebody that understands the concept that they work for you. You are the boss. You are the voter. They are supposed to do what you want them to do, or what the majority of you want them to do. And if they choose not to do that, then somebody else gets voted in to do it that will do it. I think a lot of politicians maybe forget that. So, well, we are back to the hacienda. I've got some stuff I need to do that I can't be holding my phone for. So, thanks everybody for joining me. I appreciate my night wolf shadow for always being there for me when I go live. Tardot, whoever else jumped in. So, thanks everybody for joining me. I don't know if I'll be going live here in the future. I guess we'll see what happens, but pretty sure no more tonight anyway. I'll see what shows I can get in on the live chat for later on tonight maybe. So you guys all have a great rest of your day, and God bless you.